Good evening and welcome everyone to Supreme Leverage. My name is Olubukola Adewi and I'm the CEO of Supreme Education Foundation Schools. It's always exciting to be on Supreme Leverage every Friday at 5 o'clock. Now, a sort of reminder, if you've missed any of our past show episodes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook so that you can catch up. We've had a lot of fantastic episodes that we've learned so much from, and you really do not want to miss it. Now, this evening, we're going to be talking about being freed from stress. And this is a topic that is very peculiar to us now in this season. We do every week. We always bring you the best to discuss with us. So like we do every week, I advise that you have your pen and your paper ready to take a lot of notes and be ready to ask questions. Send in via live, so you can send in questions and we can discuss and talk about it. But before I call in our guest for this evening, we will go with Oluwakemi for the news as we do every week. Kemi, we're excited to have the news from you. Over to you, Kemi.
Thank you, Mrs. Adewi. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. This is Supreme News, and here's the news across Nigeria. Supreme School. Supreme Education Foundation School is one of the leading schools where you can get the best learning experience. Our Year 12 students had resounding success in the just released WAEC results, and the school achieved a 96 success rate, while junior school had an election and swearing in of their student representative council. Our philosophy in Supreme is to provide learning at its peak with skilled and passionate educators. Join us today and you'll be glad you did. Professor Oshibajo seeks suitable curriculum to address quality education. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo has called for an urgent need to design and develop suitable curriculum assessments and monitoring systems that will focus on improving the quality of education during and post-COVID-19 pandemic. The Vice President said the adaptation of the curriculum was necessary to facilitate learning in hybrid schooling situations in view of the unexpected disruptions of education system caused by COVID-19 pandemic. And prices of beans, onions, vegetable oil, others spike across major markets. Nigerians have been hard hit with further increase in the prices of food items such as beans, onions, vegetable oil, palm oil, and several others recorded a significant price increase in November. And prices of major food items recorded significant increase across markets in Lagos State, as traders lament heightened level of insecurity such as banditry and kidnapping in the country, leading to scarcity and the subsequent hike in the prices of various food items. Federal government proposes additional tax exemption for small businesses. The federal government has proposed in the draft Finance Bill 2020 the exemption of small businesses from payment of tertiary education tax. And this new proposal from the federal government comes at a time when most businesses, especially small enterprises, are still battling with the devastating effects of the coronavirus pandemic. And this is expected to help mitigate the impact of the VAT rate increase on small, vulnerable businesses. And this is the world news. United States government recommends not traveling over Thanksgiving. United States health authorities cautioned Americans against traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday as the coronavirus spreads out of control. It is not a requirement, it's a strong recommendation. And if people have not been living with you for 14 days before you're celebrating, they're not considered a member of your household. And therefore, you need to take those extra precautions, even wearing masks within your own home. I'll leave you with the quote for the day. Success requires two types of courage. Courage to get started and courage not to quit. I am Oluwakemi Adesanya. Thank you for listening, and over to you, Mrs. Adewi.
Thank you very much, Kemi, for that. I like that quote. Courage to continue and courage not to leave. Courage to start and courage not to quit. That is very interesting. Well done, and congratulations again to year 12. That was a fantastic result. We're truly very proud of them at Supreme. Thank you very much, Kemi, for the news. And so today we are discussing freed from stress, and we are going to be discussing with Mrs. Florence Peters. She's a mental health first aider and stress management coach. She holds a qualification in counseling and mentoring. She has taught proven strategies to help you live a happier life and improve your mental health. Her role also includes teaching relaxation techniques, breath work, and multiple stress management skills. She's very passionate about mental wellness, and her desire is to help us all maintain good mental hygiene. Now, I didn't know that was possible. So above all, your mental well-being is a priority. Please welcome everyone with me this evening, Mrs. Florence Peters. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Supreme Leverage.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Mrs. Adewi. Thank you so much, such an honor.
It is more of our honor having you with us. We are so glad with all your busy schedule, making out time for us. And to think that in Nigeria at this point, it's no other time but to actually discuss being freed from stress. And one of the things I really that bothers me is it real, or are we being overcautious, or we're overthinking it? Can stress be called a disease? Is it a disease, or is just something, or are we making it up? But how would you describe stress? Is it a disease, or is it something not to be really bothered about?
Okay, sorry, I'll take my glasses off actually. Yeah, no, we're not making it up actually. Really like that question. I think because stress is something a lot of us cope with, and the society, especially I think in Nigeria, you know, when we say stress, we use it quite a lot in our language. So it's like a normal thing, something we cope with, it's a normal everyday life thing, you know. So when you mention, you know, stress management to people in Nigeria, a lot of times they look at you and they're thinking, there's no such thing. It's part of our everyday life, you know. We're sitting in the traffic, that's stressful. We're doing this, you know. NEPA is stressful. Everything is so stressful, you know. I mean, but you know, stress in when it's short-lived, like you know, going on holiday, packing for holidays, that can be stressful. So when it's short-lived, you know, that's not a big deal. You know, that will surely pass in itself. However, chronic stress, you know, majorly can impact our immune system. So it makes it harder. It makes it harder for our body to fight off those bad guys, and it makes us more susceptible to illnesses. We get ill really quickly when we're under a lot of stress. So it leads to inflammation and even autoimmune diseases. So while stress in itself is not an illness, the morbidity and the mortality, you know, due to stress-related illnesses is overwhelming, it's alarming. So we need to pay it more attention and not ignore it. We need to understand that if you're frequently feeling frazzled, if you're frequently overwhelmed, it's time to take actions and bring your nervous system back into check, into balance. You know, when we start to ignore these things, we start to create problems for ourselves. We start to, you know, when we're ignoring the signs, we're creating more problem. Our family life start to struggle. Our sex life start to struggle. Our finances start to struggle because you're saving money, but then when you start, your savings starts to go towards medical bills when the root cause is not, when the root cause is ignored. So you start using your savings to pay for medical bills. So whilst it's not a disease as such, it's a root cause for a lot of diseases.
Ooh, that is enlightening. So how does stress then affect our mental health?
Greatly. Great.
Because like you said, it's part of our everyday life. Every day we say it casually. I'm stressed. Oh, I'm really stressed. We're in the traffic. I'm stressed. We didn't sleep well. I'm stressed. You're not having your lunch. It's because I'm stressed. And we just use it casually, and we don't know the impact of it on our body. I never thought of it that accumulated stress after a while brings about so many diseases and all of that. But then, how does it then impact on our mental health-being, and what are the symptoms? What do we need to start watching out and looking out for?
Right. Okay. I love that. I love what you said there. So yes, like I said, it affects our mental health greatly, so much. It causes a lot of mental health problems, and it makes existing mental health problems worse. So people that have pre-existing mental illnesses, it can make it worse for them. It enlarges it. So chronic stress in itself, like I said, there's two types of stress. There's the there's mild stress, which is our everyday normal reaction to whatever we go through in life. That's okay. That's normal. I go through it. You go through it. However, chronic stress, acute stress, that's the one we need to be concerned about. The prolonged stress, the ones we're ignoring, the accumulated stress, they start to disrupt every system in our body. It actually rewires our brain, actually leaving us more vulnerable to things like anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems. So the most dangerous thing about it is the fact that we said earlier on, is that how easily it is to creep up on us, because we're not paying much attention to it. So it starts to creep up on us. You get used to it. Oh, it's just traffic. You're getting used to it. Oh, it's just you're getting used to it. It starts to feel familiar. It starts to feel normal.
Oh, that's true.
Notice how much it's affecting you, and how and eventually it takes a heavy toll on you. Depression, anxiety, sleeping problems, and a lot of emotional problems. So you think about the symptoms in itself and how much it leads to when we're under so much stress, our body releases what is called stress hormones. So these are the cortisol, the adrenaline, and norepinephrine. And these stress hormones, they just go. They trigger the flight, freeze, and the fight states in our body. So when the body is releasing cortisol, and it's releasing it in high doses, especially when we're under so much stress, this can lead to heart diseases. This can lead to extreme fatigue, like I mentioned earlier on, depression, anxiety, insomnia, increased high blood pressure, heart rate increasing. The brain, poor digestion, the list is so long. I can go on. You have acne on your skin, everything flares up from the inside. And you have the behavioral symptoms of it as well, which is, I say behavioral symptoms of stress are things like you start to eat more or you eat less. You have things like you're sleeping too much or you're sleeping too less. You're withdrawing from people. Some people use alcohol or cigarettes or whatever drugs to help them cope with their stresses. You have the emotional symptoms of stress on ourselves as well, and that's when we talk about the mental part of it, which is the anxiety. You're moody, you're irritable, you're angry, you're overwhelmed. You're just
temper flaring.
You're all over the place. And the physical symptoms, you have your aches and pains, your headaches, diarrhea. Some people have diarrhea. Some people are nausea when they're stressed. For some older people, some people it's loss of sex drive, physical, and that's pretty much it with the symptoms. we just need to pay our body more attention and not ignore these signs. When we ignore these signs our body is giving us, we're creating more trouble for ourselves.
Wow. Wow. I mean, you've nailed most of it. Insomnia, and you get very familiar. That is one of the things that's come across to me now, is that we get familiar with stress. It seems like it's part of us. We start getting used to it. But then sometimes it's also a coping skill. We find a way to cope with it. And so getting familiar with it becomes our coping skills, where we seem to be in denial, or I'm not sure if that is the right word. So we begin to think it's not stress, it's normal. What do we do? How do we cope? Is denial the best way? Is the acceptance of it the best way to deal with it? Is the so-called coping mechanism, saying getting used to it, is that the way to go about it? Is it something about mind shift? How do we cope with stress? What is the way out, especially the unavoidable ones? So, for example, for us in Nigeria, the third mainland bridge is under construction at now, and we have to go through some certain routes and be in traffic. And we have to be on those routes. We have to get to those traffic because we need to get to work. So what do we do? How do we cope?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, so like you said, we do get familiar with stress. We get very comfortable with it. We start to give it all sorts of names, like you said. And yeah, we find on LV coping mechanisms to deal with stress. One of it is denial. We deny it, but pretend it's not there. We don't talk about the elephants in the room. We find another on LV coping mechanisms are some people use drugs, some people smoke, some people drink to get away from that. Not facing the issue right on the head. But what I always say is, to deal with an emotion, you need to face it. You need to realize it. You need to come to terms with it, and then you're able to deal with it. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you can't deal with it. So you need to identify your stresses. You need to, do stress journal. Have a journal that just lists out your stresses. You can start one for a week or as long as you need to. But what you tend to find is when you begin to identify and write things down, you start to see a pattern of what your stressors are. And that way you're able to control things a bit more. Now, the thing with things like the stress of traffic on the third mainland bridge, COVID-19, Black Lives Matters, and all of these stresses are out of our control. Now, the more we fight to deal with these stresses that are not in our control, the more stress we're going to get, the more strain we're putting on our mental health, and the more sleepless nights, the more worries we're giving ourselves. So I always say, a healthy way to react to stress is adapt your thoughts. Like you said, a mindset shift. Adapt your thoughts and your feelings to the constant, to the constantly changing of life's reality. These things are there. I can't do anything about the road work going on Third Mainland Bridge. I'm not a constructor, I'm not an engineer. I can't do anything about it. So I need to find ways to help myself. Like whilst I'm in the car, I can do some relaxation exercise. I can read a book to take my mind off, the traffic. Okay, I'm going to be sitting in traffic for 3 hours. I'll bring a book along that I can read whilst I'm sitting there. Do you know what? Earlier when you were saying you can't use your phone because you're concerned about the guys on the hoodlums on the street that would just break the glasses. Okay, so maybe stay away from technology, and which is actually good. Staying away from technology, unplugging, it's a good way to distress, because a lot of things we're reading online, they're stressors. So we're constantly on Instagram, we're constantly watching the news, and I tell you, a lot of what we're hearing on the news, they're bad. They're bad. You very rarely hear good news these days. It's
Very,
always
very.
this person has died, that person has
Mm.
died, this person got murdered, so all of this in itself, the more you're reading into it and watching it, it just
Oh,
starts
yeah.
increasing your anxiety level, just starts skyrocketing. So it's probably
Very
best to
true.
stay away from the phone when you're in traffic. Find a book to read, do some writing. Coloring is another fantastic thing to distress. And
Oh, really?
absolutely.
I wouldn't know that, really.
Coloring is fantastic. They're doodles for adults, not children doodling. And
Mm.
it's just creative. It takes your mind to a different place. And when you're being creative as well, it brings another side of you out. It's fantastic. Honestly, please try it.
Really, I'll give that a try. Interesting. Wow, that's true. We get a lot of stress truly from being online. So it's I remember during the EndSARS, there was so much going on online. I just shut down after a while. I stopped going on all social media platforms because there was so much information and it was difficult sieving out what was real, what was not so real. They were depressing. You find out that you were just sad and you just can't explain it. My sister says she just started crying, and she wasn't there. She's right in the UK there, or from reading so much, and she was so depressed. So really, sometimes it's very necessary that we just unplug and address it. And I like the fact that I said we should adapt our thoughts to the constant changes that life brings. Also trying to understand that some things indeed are out of our control. So denial is not the best way out. It's facing it at knowing that these are the identifying the stress points and facing it and then dealing with it as it comes. That's fantastic.
With the mention of the EndSARS thing, a lot of us felt it. It was heartbreaking. It was heart-wrenching. I remember I was totally broken. One of my colleagues said to me, she's Jamaican, she said, was any member of your family there? That was so much impact it had on me. And I said, actually, they were all my family members. Yeah. So, and what helped was unplugging, like you said, unplugging and understanding that, what? I don't need to be updated with everything going on. I can just take a step back, look after myself, and unplug. And I think another clip came out yesterday or 2 days ago from by CNN. My sister, I saw it, but I didn't watch it because I knew that the first time this happened, it had a massive impact on my mental health. I'm not going to dip myself back into that place. And my sister-in-law around me, she goes, have you seen it? You must watch it. I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I am aware of what's going on, and I don't want to take myself back to that dark place because I know what impacts that's going to have on me. So we also need to know ourselves. We need to know our triggers. You need to be able to set boundaries that this is going to set me off mentally. I'm not going to do it regardless.
Thank you for that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Knowing ourselves and knowing our boundaries and knowing what triggers us, because we're all different and we do have different strengths. So there are some things that you can take, but I can't take it. So I need to understand how I react to things. So really it's like what the Bible says when it says you have to guard your heart diligently. And that guarding your heart is, I think, is also to the extent to which your heart can cope with some things. So it means that you can't cope with all things. We're just all different. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that watched everything, read everything, and they slept beautifully like a baby. They didn't affect anything. So, and they've got what it takes. I don't have what it takes, so I protect myself. Even with movies, there's some movies, it just triggers some deep places, some places I don't want to go to. And I find myself depressed. And I thought, why watch a movie that makes you depressed? So I watch pure entertainment. And my sister-in-law also, I think about a month ago, I think she's watching. And she told me to watch a particular movie on Netflix. Actually, it's a series. So I watched the first episode, and then I stopped watching. And then she called me and said, "Did you find out the sister did this?" I said, "Oh, I stopped watching." She said, "Why? That's very interesting." I said, "No, it's too real for me. I don't want that reality. I have so much reality going on around me. So when I watch movies, I just want pure entertainment. I want the happily ever after. I want to watch my Cinderella stories, the Alice in Wonderland. And that is what I want. That's okay. It keeps me sane. So it's really about understanding who you are and then actually knowing your trigger points and avoiding the setups. And I hope our viewers are taking that on point, because I think many people, they just do not understand. They don't know how to set the boundaries. And I'm really glad you said that, because at a point I thought something was wrong with me. You know, everybody has said something, and then I'm like, I know I'm not watching that. I don't have what it takes. But even some documentaries, I don't watch it because I don't have what it takes for it. So, like my own cocoon, you know. So, thank you for that. It's really good. Okay. So, what advice would you give anyone currently struggling with their mental health? Now, while you're going to give this advice, please remember that in context here in Nigeria, we are in a lot of denial. We never believe that we're having mental health issues. And even when it seems that we do have it, it becomes a church issue. You need to pray it out. You need to go for deliverance. It's nothing like mental health issues. So maybe even before your advice, can you just break it down a little bit, so that for those people that think you have to be really, really crazy, you know, it means that something is wrong with you up there if you have mental health issues. I think also we need to be enlightened. What does it really mean to have mental health issues before we even go to the advice? Can you please shed a bit of light?
Okay, so thank you. When we talk about mental health, we all have mental health, just like we have physical health, you know. So this is just our general well-being mentally. So when you know, some people, however, have poor mental health, which is mental health illnesses. So they're not you know, they struggle with some of the things some other people don't struggle with. We're all different, let's say that. So we're talking about things like some people struggle with you know, depression. They struggle with anxiety disorder. Some people struggle with ADHD is also a part of mental health, if you want to add that to it. So it varies. These are conditions. This is just our the body's reaction. These are just how the it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, basically. Sorry, I'm losing my words there. So basically, the way you have malaria is the same way you have depression. I'm trying to find a nice soft landing to put it. So when we're talking about physical health, you're talking about someone that physical illness, someone that has malaria, you know, someone that has maybe cancer, a headache, a broken leg, a bad tummy. And the same way with our mental health, you know, mental illness. So you're talking about people that have, maybe they're going through depression, they feel sad, they feel lonely, they feel very anxious and very overwhelmed at very some situations that might not trigger other people, might trigger them. It doesn't mean that they're abnormal. It's just the way their chemical imbalance in their body is just functioning that way. You know, and at some point in our lives, everybody go through some form of overwhelm, you know, but some people are able to come out of it quicker, and it's okay. However, some people, it takes them longer. And in some cases, some people would need medication to get through it. Just like when you have a headache, some people are okay. They put water on their head and they're okay. They go on. And some people would need maybe paracetamol to get through their headache. And then some people may have migraine, which is a bit stronger than a normal headache, and they need stronger medication to help them with that headache. And it's the same with our mental health as well. Some people need they need counseling, they need people to talk to get through what they're going through. Other people may need medication to help them come through their condition, and other people need a bit of both. So it depends on what your conditioner. But mental illnesses, it's just the same as physical illnesses. There is no stigma to it. There are stigmas to it. However, there should be no stigma to it. It's a normal thing. It's something we should all be talking about. We should all be embracing. And when I talk about mental health, when I talk about mental illness, rather, I talk about it from a place of wellness rather than illness. So I don't talk to people that, okay, from a place of, oh, mad person. No, that's not what it's about. Even doctors, even scientists, even like the presidents, they go through some form of mental health issues. Everybody go through it. Even the psychiatrists, the doctors, they all go through mental health condition. So it doesn't mean you're a bad person, you're a mad person, you're, the culture we're living in, especially the Black culture and the Christian and religious culture, we hide a lot of things, we cover a lot of things up, and we make it all look like, oh, it's a spiritual attack. But no, a lot of things are, actually mental conditions that with just the right help, they can be treated. With the right intervention, things get better. However, when we leave it, when we ignore the signs, when we intervene in the wrong way, which is usually when someone is going through a mental breakdown, they take them to churches. So we're intervening. It's okay to pray. There's nothing wrong with praying. So whilst we're intervening in the spiritual aspect, we're prolonging the person's healing. We're not giving them the right attention they need. There's nothing wrong with praying as well as taking them to the hospital to get medical help as well. You can do everything together, But ultimately, I always say the first step to it is, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling like you're in a dark place and you cannot get yourself out of it, please, and if this has been going on for over 2 weeks, please speak to somebody, ask for help. Do not keep quiet, because the longer you leave it, the worse things get for you. Early intervention is the best for anything, everything, whatever condition it is. When you intervene early, you have a better chance of getting your healing.
Thank you for that. I like your illustration, the way you used it with headaches and at different stages of headaches, and when you have the sometimes, or you need to pour some water on your head and then you sleep it off. Sometimes you just go to bed early and then you're fine, like you've never had that headache. And there are times you have to use paracetamol, and there are times paracetamol won't work. You need ibuprofen, you need the Advil, you need something stronger. And there are times you then need a series of checkup when you start having migraines and all of that. So I like that illustration and using that for mental health as well. And then the fact that we all do have go through mental health issues at different points in time, depending on the support system around us. I mean, one of the most very common ones is for women who have to give birth postnatal. And most people, I think it's just that hormone balance after having a baby and all of that. And sometimes you just hold your baby and you're just weeping and you're crying. Why are you crying? You just don't even know why, And it depends on the support system all around you, your mom, right? And some people don't have the support system. So it's important that they speak out as well. I'm glad that you said at different points in time, once it's going on for about 2 weeks, it's very key, it's very important that we speak out. I also want to reiterate saying that even as we're treating it spiritually, it's important that we're treating it physically as well. So if you have malaria, you will take your malaria medications. Your paracetamol, you will take the dosage as required, and then you pray along with it. Then so it's balanced. You're not going to have malaria and then go straight to the church and keep praying. and then your fever, you're running very high temperature, and you're lying down by the altar and just praying. I'm sure even God is going to say, get up there, go to the pharmacy and just pop in those pills. I've gotten all of it done and ready for you. And I think that's the same thing we need to begin to apply to mental wellness as well. I mean, gradually in the country, the awareness is increasing in Nigeria, increasing in schools. We are also having the same issues with the students, which is something that in the past parents were in denial. They are still, but not as bad as it used to be. So for parents and in the school situation, we have, I mean, one of Mrs. Esenwa, our pastoral team, has just dropped in a comment. She's excited about what we have in this, the topic for this evening. And so one of the things we would have is parents in denial. How do we help them to see? Because an ADHD child, they're like, oh no, the child is just being playful. I had an incident when I saw a child that would not make eye contact for about a term, and I called the mom. I said, your son is not making eye contact. What do you think? He said, oh no, just being spoiled, there's nothing, just a very shy child. I said, I don't think so. Something is not right here. Should we run some tests and all of that? And said the child was being labeled, she rejects anything and all of that. And as teaching time saves now, you said that over and over. Any intervention always makes a difference. And by the time they were prepared to start checking, they found out that it was slightly on the spectrum, and a lot of things could have been addressed and corrected, especially in the first 3 years of that child's life. So it's important. So how do we handle it? How do we help them to see? Are there particular strategies that as a school we need to put in place to help parents? Because I know, well, parents anywhere in the world, but it's about the awareness. The more awareness they get, the more they know, I think the better it becomes. How can we help?
Yeah, and you that's pretty much it. To be quite honest, like you're just spot on with that. Awareness. We won't stop talking about it. We're always going to keep talking about it, and we're going to be talking about it. Do you know I feel the trouble is, or the issues we're having right now is because in the past, mental health in Nigeria, in the Black community, in Africa generally, is being identified with, you look at this man on the road with the scruffiest of hair, with a basket hanging on his shoulder, no clothes on, just that kind of image. That's what people see when you talk about mental health, So we need to start engaging them in conversations. We need to make them aware that actually, you see, the president, he might actually be going through some form of mental health condition as well. So the more people talk about it, and I feel like some people need to start talking about it a bit more. A lot of people are actually doing this talking. So we have more celebrities talking and coming out and saying, you know what, I'm going through depression, I'm going through this, and things like that. People start to become aware that, oh, actually, this celebrity in a massive house, living in a mansion, driving a Ferrari, is going through as a mental health condition. So, oh, actually, okay, I see. So it's not exactly just this madman on the image with the one we see in Nollywood movie. That's not that's not what mental health is all about. It is more to it than that. So constantly educating them, having this discussion. We need to have these difficult conversations. They're not going to, it's not something we're going to expect them to accept overnight. It's constant talking. And I love the fact that you said in your school you have a pastoral team and your mental health is something you talk about. This is a passion of mine. I feel like mental health should be a curriculum on its own in schools. It really should be, because a lot of the issues we're having now as grown-ups If we'd been taught when we were younger in primary schools, we've been taught about stress management, coping mechanisms, relaxation techniques, we will be better right now. We will know how to handle things better. We will be more comfortable talking about what we're going through without feeling like, oh, this person is going to judge me if I tell them, do you know what? I'm having a bad day. I'm going through a bad patch, and it's just the way the society has perceived it in the future, but we're changing things. We're turning things around. We're saying, no, it's okay. You see this pretty girl here? I go through depression. I went through postnatal depression twice. It's nothing wrong with it. We're talking about it. We're saying, you know what? It's fine. With the right help, with the right support network, you will be okay. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not something to be quiet about. But what I also find is some of our parents as well, they're going through mental health problems that was never dealt with, So it's been buried. It's been left as spiritual problems. It's been ignored, So that constant denial in the family is always going to be there if we're not educating them. So we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep telling the children in school that this is it. If you're feeling sad, it is normal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's okay to feel sad, but speak up about it. It's okay not to be okay, but tell somebody about it. Let somebody know so they can offer you the right help. Sometimes those people we need to talk to may not be our parents because they don't understand. So find the right support network to talk to, and in turn, our parent will come round. They will come round. Things are changing. We're going to make sure this mental health issue we're going to break the through. We're going to break the
through. Definitely, because like you said as well, with our parents, we also find out that they've also raised us with their mental health baggage, and they've transferred a lot of aggression. They've set up a lot of walls and boundaries with our growing up because they never dealt with those issues. And then it goes on and on. And so one of the things we've done at Supreme is we have the pastoral team, and we have them working with children in clusters as well. And open door policy and confidentiality is very key. So you can go in and you can talk about, and they're going through so much, especially with teenagers, their hormones are running wild. There's a lot of expectations. You know what we are like with academics. Speakers, you have to make these particular grades. You're either a student or nothing. In Nigeria, we don't want to know about your passion. Maybe you're not even interested in academics. Maybe you're interested in making hair. Maybe you want to do makeup. Maybe you want to sing. The very key thing for us is, I don't want to know about that. You just need to give me straight A's. You just need to pass the exams. And they're going through so much as well. Their body is changing, the awareness, what is happening, why am I feeling this way? They're having their first crushes as well. And they can't just go back home and say, oh, mom, I'm having a crush. What? So there's so much they're going through. And it's taken a lot on us as a school to realize that and putting strategies in place for them so that they are able to cope with these things, and they understand that it's okay as well to be vulnerable. And it's just not even about the students as well. It's also even about the teachers. They are going through so much as well. So it's an old school thing. So even with the teachers, I was discussing with some teachers. I said it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay for people to see the weak side of you. It's okay to cry. If you're really down, sometimes you just have to let down that day and then spill it all out. So it's enlightening, and like you said, we are going to change things. This generation is going to be better. We're going to keep talking about it until we are totally free from stress. Okay, so you talked about relaxation technique breathing exercise. Can you shed some light on that? What does it mean to have a relaxation? Is there a technique to relaxation? Is it not just about just lying down on the bed and sleeping? Is that not what it just means to relax? Or watching a movie? What is relaxation technique? Please shed some light, please.
Yeah, those are quite those are also valid relaxation techniques. Yeah, sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, having a nap.
Okay.
You know, so some people don't have naps. They don't see the point of having a nap in the afternoon. It's almost like, no, I need to make this money. I need to do this business. I need to do this. So people don't, they cheat nature, you know. So if you're feeling like you're tired, go have a nap, you know. Quick energy boost, an hour, 45 minutes. It does wonders, you know.
Wow.
It could be laying down as well. It could be watching a movie, a nice, funny movie that just really, really, you know, just to set something off in you. Comedies are quite good as well for relaxing, but also the relaxation techniques, when practiced regularly, these activities can help to reduce your everyday stress. So I'm talking about things like tense and relax techniques. There's grounding exercises and deep breathing exercises, meditation, yoga. There's so many. The list goes on. There's a lot of things you can do. There's distort feelings, and there's quite a lot of things you can do to just boost your energy levels and to bring that feeling of joy and serenity. And you know, there are also that they just help you with the ability to stay calm at all times, you know. Whoa. And to help you stay collected under pressure as well. So whilst you may be, you know, in some circumstances when you can't sleep, you can try breathing exercise. Perhaps you have an interview you're going for, an exam you're studying for. You know, breathing techniques are very, very good for calming the nerves when you're trying to go for an interview or an exam. So it'd be perfect for the students actually to try. That can literally take you from nervous to calm in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So breathing techniques are great, and I feel like you know, that's another thing we need to be taught a lot of. We need to be taught about. We have various strategies that we can try. Try it, see what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. I know some people that do not like breathing exercises, and what I feel and what I think the reason is because breathing exercise is something you need to do regularly. It's something you need to practice regularly. You don't, if you're going to use it at the height of your stress, when you're right here, it probably won't work, and it will just make you more frustrated. So if it's something you're used to, is part of you, you wouldn't even get here, because you'll be able to bring yourself back to ground yourself constantly when you have these skills and these skills. When you know these skills and you practice them and you have them, you can use them when you need them. You just know, okay, this, I need to do this, I need to do this, this is what works for me, let me do it. Grounding exercises, you look at 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can feel. That works as well for grounding you, for relaxing you. So
interesting. Can we have a demo of the breathing exercise? What does it look like? Can we see a demonstration?
Absolutely, we can. There are various exercises, or I'll do a 4-3-5 breathing exercise with us. And if you gonna demonstrate with me, because I like people doing it with me, so it doesn't
I'm ready.
You are ready. Fantastic. So you can close your eyes if you want to. I tend to find that it's easier. It's better to close your eyes, because you know, it takes you to that calm place, and your all the distractions are shut out when your eyes are closed. So you can close your eyes and just relax yourself, relax your shoulders. unclench your the fist. And also, I want you to release your tongue. Release your tongue. Because if I ask you right now where your tongue is, it's probably resting up the top of the roof of your mouth, and that is quite tense.
Yes.
So release your tongue so you'll feel a bit more relaxed. And so I want you to take a deep breath in for 4 seconds. I'd like you to hold it for 3 seconds. And when you're breathing out, I want you to take a massive push out of the air for 5 seconds. So we're going to do that together now. So breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. We're going to do it one more time. I want you to inhale. In. Hold. And exhale. If you just gently open your eyes, take your time. Don't rush yourself, just gently open your eyes. If you rush yourself, you might feel a bit dizzy. And if you've never done that.
Yes, that was good. Whoa, fantastic. I could go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That helps with insomnia as well. If you struggle to sleep, lay on your bed and do a couple of breathing exercises.
Okay.
You'll drift away.
Mr. Itai asking, how often should this be done?
As much as you need to.
Oh,
whenever you need to, you just do it.
Wow, that's really good. Thank you very much for that. I feel so relaxed. I'm going to do more of that. Yes, I'm going to. That's very good. So do you have products and resources that can help for further needs if we want to?
Absolutely.
Oh, network was excellent. Thank you, Louise. I think she just gave that a try as well. That was good.
Breathworks are fantastic, absolutely. I've got quite a few projects I'm working on actually. I work on my current project is called Florence Happy Project, and that's just spreading happiness one phone call at a time to the vulnerable people in our society. So I find that a lot of us are we're lonely, not because we don't have family, but because we just need somebody to talk to listen to us without judgment. a lot of times we talk to people and they listen to respond, not to actually understand or with empathy. So this project is just to, you know, pick the phone up and call somebody and say, hey, how are you? How are you getting on? And just listen to them. That's one project I'm working on. You can get involved by referral, whatever, volunteer. It's all good. I've got an ebook on stress management that's all available on my page, and I also offer, you know, subscriptions for stress management, yearly subscriptions that's available as well. But also I have a webinar, a masterclass actually coming up next Saturday, and this is called Calm the Storm. This is particularly for moms, to be quite honest. So parents could benefit greatly from this. If you're a mom, constantly overwhelmed, exhausted, you know, you're the doctor, you're the lawyer, you're the accountant, you're the referee, you're the cook, you're the everything.
Chauffeur, you're the laundry
everything. You know, and when we get to that overwhelmed state, without doing it intentionally, we snap, we take it out on the children, we pour out all these negative emotions on them, we're snapping at them, we're calling their names, and all this emotional contagion is transferable. And what we're pouring to them in that moment of anger has a way of sitting inside of them. And, you know, some children hold on to these things and they get resentful, to be quite honest. So, you know, there are ways, and some people don't know how to manage, I don't know how to deal, you know, how to find balance in all of this. It's just so overwhelming. Mom, business, work, you're running, you're doing so many things, you don't know how to find a balance. I've got skills, I've got skills, strategies to help you get to that place of balance. And if you're interested, that's available on my page as well. My mind.
That's fantastic. That's nice. Rita Yanga, thank you. Said awesome. Yes. One call. Thank you. She says, "Go Florence." Well done, Rita Yanga as well. Thank you for all that. I think they're loving you so much with this, and we're learning so much from you. And we'd like to know your handle before we go off now. So
my
what's your handle?
Is at My Mind First Aider.
Good, that's nice. Again, can you say that again one more time?
My Mind First Aider.
Fantastic. So please follow her at My Mind First Aider so that you can get more details, and they could send you DMs as well if they want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been an honor having you this evening. We could go on, but it's and how we have to go off now. Thank you so much for making our time. We've learned so much from you, and we will be inviting you for more with Supreme, with our teenagers, for you to work with us and with our teachers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor being here. Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed myself. It's been absolutely fun. I don't know why I was nervous.
Really? You've been fantastic. Thank you so much. And to our audience, thank you for joining us this evening. See you next week, 5 p.m. on Friday. I remain your host, Olubukola Adewoye. Thank you so much. See you next week. Thank you, Florence.